the Go-Getters, and I'm Sydney.
I'm Veronica.
I'm Reggie.
I'm Sarah.
And our client this semester was Clarion Build. So we're going to get started with Reggie with what is Clarion?
So Clarion is a Japanese company that started in 1940, and they started manufacturing radio batteries. And 11 years later, in 1951, they decided they wanted to expand, and they started to manufacture car stereos, which were then exported to the United States. And then it wasn't until 2011 that Clarion actually started manufacturing digital stereos, which have become very profitable across the United States and all over the world. Currently, Clarion now has locations worldwide in Asia, Europe, Australia, and Europe. Oh, I think I said Europe. But they're worldwide, and now they supply many original equipment manufacturers, including Kia, Nissan, Porsche, and even Audi. And I'll pass it on to Sarah to talk about Clarion Builds.
Okay, so what is Clarion Builds? Clarion Builds is a program that Clarion started a few years ago, and it's basically been a huge marketing tool for them. What they do is they have Clarion personnel. They go and they pick up old, damaged cars, and they restore them. The most recent one that they did was the Acura NSX, which we had at our event on campus, and there's about $200,000 worth of upgrades to that car, and that will be auctioned off next year at the Barrett-Jackson event. So with those cars, they auction them off for charity. So all that money does go to a charity that's partnered with Clarion. Clarion Builds also has created a lot of partnerships with other companies such as Pandora, Michelin, Toyo Tires, and those relationships have really helped build brand awareness for Clarion and Clarion Builds. Now I'm going to pass it over to Veronica for expectations and goals.
So there were a lot of expectations and goals when it came to Clarion Builds and us as the Go-Getters. When we originally got our client, there was a lot of brainstorming to what exactly we wanted to do. So originally they gave us 4 options: either a survey, an event that we were going to do at a car show, either a lifestyle video, and we realized we're not videographers, we're not good at that, so let's not do that, and also Snapchat and Periscope. And we kind of overshot at first, and we talked to Evan about it, and we wanted to do all 3. We wanted to do a survey, we wanted to do an event, and we wanted to do Snapchat and Periscope. He said, wait a minute, slow down, you have to under-promise. And so we said, okay, went to the drawing board a little bit, and then we talked to Jubal and Chantal, which were our main contacts. We figured out, hey, let's do a survey. We kind of thought, we're like, survey might be a little bit boring, let's do a survey event. So ultimately we came up with a survey event. And so we collaborated with Jubal and Chantal, and we kind of went back and forth. They wanted a themed event on campus. They wanted an 80s theme. They wanted a swimming theme, something fun. And we said, wait a minute, let's not do that. Let's do something Cal State Fullerton. Let's leave it at Cal State Fullerton and just make it all Clarion, completely all Clarion. And so they wanted us to reach a good number of respondents. We said ultimately we want to reach a target demographic of 18 to 30 years old. The millennials were on Cal State Fullerton. That'll be perfect to target them. And so ultimately we came up with this huge event, and we wanted to reach a minimum of 200 respondents for the survey. We thought that was the perfect ideal target for us. And now I will pass it on, and we were going to talk about our SWOT analysis with Sydney.
So I'm going to briefly go over the SWOT analysis. For strengths going in, we knew that Clarion had a very strong Facebook presence with 27,000 people liking their Facebook page, and they post regularly. They're also known for their quality products, and they're known internationally, and they're a leader in their industry. And they also provide a ton of different products like subwoofer, if you're into cars, you know, like subwoofers, amplifiers. They even provide sound systems for boats. And their weaknesses as a original equipment manufacturer, their products are not branded. So when they have their products in a car like a Kia, those people who are buying those cars don't know that their products are Clarion. So that's a weakness, definitely. And then they also have a very weak Instagram and Twitter presence. On Instagram, they have barely 2,000 followers, and on Instagram, barely 9,000. so a lot less than the 27,000 for Facebook. And another weakness is their awesome restoration program. They have barely any publicity about it. Like, no one really knows about that outside of the Barrett-Jackson community. And with that, they have opportunities. They have opportunities to increase their Twitter and Instagram following, and they also have the ability to push through the OEMs and have their brand being viewed by those people buying those cars. And they also are able to have new innovative technology like their FDS, their full digital sound, the first and only sound system to only go through digital sound instead of analog. And with threats, they have the decline of people registering for driver's license. So less people driving, less people having cars. People also lease their cars, so they don't want to invest that much money, like a 3,000 sound system. You don't want to do that in a car you're leasing. And then competitors also have technology that can compete with their FDS system. And with that, we're going to go with the timeline. We first had our client meeting with Chital and Jubal in February, and they then proposed to us, like Veronica said, the video, the website, the survey event, participating at a car event. So we went in and proposed that we participate at the car event, and they said that would not be as beneficial to them. So at our first phone conference, we proposed the on-campus survey event, and they said, yes, let's do that. So going on with planning that, we had to meet with Vincent, who's the director of student engagement, and we had to explain who Practical Advantage was, what Clarion Builds was, and our goals for this event. And then he directed me to Anthony Ping, who's the board of campus activities. So he is also on a panel of vendors on campus. So we had to make sure that Clarion brand was not stepping on the toes of other brands. Like, since our campus is a Pepsi campus, if we were representing Coca-Cola, it'd be a no-go. And then they wanted the marketing plan before our event, so we turned that into them. And April 4th is when our entire event, location, the survey event was all approved. And that was also the day that our main point of contact left Clarion Builds for a great opportunity at Epson. So our new point of contact was Jubal, which was fine. The rest of April was catching him up on what we were planning on doing. And finally, for April 27th and 28th, we had our event on campus, and it went wonderfully. We were able to get the 91 NSX there. And on April 4th, we picked the raffle winner, who was Vincent Leung, and he picked up his prizes. And now we're going on to the marketing goals with Veronica.
All right, so I'm going to talk about reaching a new target. So we developed this survey, and we had to really hone in on the questions. We had to make sure that these questions were not biased, that would give really great insight to Clarion so that they could take it back and bring it back and get a great marketing plan. So it was a little bit of a science. We had to figure out what exactly we wanted from them. We wanted to know their, if they even knew Clarion. We wanted to know their brand perceptions. We wanted to know their motivations to what they buy in a car, what they like in a car, characteristics. So I put a little bit of examples on here. We wanted to know, how often do you guys drive? Cal State Fullerton is a commuter school, so to our surprise, you know, a lot of people either take the bus, they drive, or they take the bike, little things like that. We wanted to figure out if people have a car. The biggest thing was we wanted to figure out how do people listen to music in their car, since we do have audio systems. A lot of people listen Bluetooth auxiliary cords. So actually not a lot of people actually listen to the radio that much, FM, AM, satellite, things like that. We wanted to figure out which aftermarket car product are you likely to purchase. When you do buy a car, are you more interested in tinted windows, rims, or an audio system? So we got a little insight about that. How much are you willing to spend? Since we are college students and we want to target the millennial age, which is 18 to 30, how much are you guys willing to spend? So as college students, probably not that much because we have a little bit of a budget. So with this being said, all of these great questions, we had about 20 questions, helped us figure out what exactly are we going to target, how are we going to tailor it to target to our target demographic. So next, I'm going to pass it on to Reggie, who's going to talk about increasing our social media presence.
So we decided that we wanted to have 2 incentives that will help Clarion Builds with their social media presence. And so our 2 incentives were a $100 Amazon gift card and a digital stereo system for your car. And the way you would do it was if you took the survey and you entered your email at the end of the survey, you had the chance to win the $100 Amazon gift card. And in order to win the digital stereo system, if you took a picture of the car, with the car, you name it, and posted on Instagram, followed their Instagram account, and hashtag Clarion USA, Clarion Builds USA, then you would be entered to win the digital stereo system. And so after the survey event, which actually the Amazon gift card and stereo system attracted a lot of the students and participants to come into the booth, so that was really nice, Clarion, to provide that. We used an application called Lucky Raffle, and we picked, or the application picked Vincent Leung, who has a following of over 12,000 on Instagram, and 2,700 people liked his photo of the car and him in it. And so that brought a lot of brand awareness to Clarion, and after the event they actually gained over 400 followers on Instagram. So they started with about 2,100 and they ended up with 2,500, so that really helped. And I'll pass it on to Veronica for demographics.
Alright, so at the end of our survey, we wanted to ask people their demographics, things like age, income, education level, ethnicity, things like that. Of course, we had to get our survey approved. That's just a regulation with Cal State Fullerton, and we had to make sure that we had to put prefer not to answer with these demographic questions since we're pulling all these demographic questions from them. So we did put prefer not to answer on these. So we did this through SurveyMonkey, so it was a great tool because we got all these beautiful graphs that are on here. And so I'll start with education level. And so for education level, since we were at Cal State Fullerton, a lot of people were reaching a bachelor's degree, so that's what some colleges there for. And then also next was people who were getting their master's degree. Next is ethnicity. And so for ethnicity, it was tied at Hispanic and Asian, Pacific Islander, and then next was white and Caucasian, and then we had African American, Native American, and then other. And for age, we wanted to target 18 to 30 years old. The majority of them were 21 to 23 years old. And like we expected, we thought we would get more males. Of course we did. We got 70% of males because we had the 91 acronym sex there. So a lot of males came over, checked out the car, wanted to see the horsepower and all of that great stuff about the car. And only about 28% of women came. All right, and I'm going to pass it on to Sarah for psychographics.
Okay, so some of the questions that we wanted to figure out from our audience was, like we said earlier, how much they're willing to spend. Also, what social media platforms that they use most often to get information. And then also, too, how important some of the characteristics were when they were thinking about aftermarket car products. So on the first graph there, it's how likely are you guys to use the following social media platforms in order to gain information. Not surprising, Facebook and Instagram were the top ones. So from that, we can tell Clarion that they should focus their efforts on those 2 platforms. And then Snapchat was in a close third, so that might be something that if they have the capabilities to also focus their efforts on creating a Snapchat. The next question is how important each of the characteristics were when they were purchasing aftermarket car products. So the one that won was sound quality, and then the next 2 that were most important to people was visual appearance and then also accessibility. Some other psychographic questions that we asked was about how much they're willing to spend. Not surprising, most people don't have a lot of money that are in college, so $0 to $300 was the majority of the respondents' answer. And then the next question also we wanted to ask is how do they get their information about car products? The internet and family and friends were the top 2, so we know that word of mouth really helps build brand awareness and then information about the cars. So now I'm going to pass it on to Sydney for our conclusion.
So we had aimed to get 200 responses, and we got a little bit over 250, which is awesome. We also concluded that millennials are interested in aftermarket products, but we do have that budget, so Clarion has to create some products for us that we can afford. It also increased brand awareness, like the items that we handed out to you, the bottle opener and the detail cloth. It's increasing the brand visibility, and so everyone that took a survey got a prize with the Clarion brand. So now, if they're cleaning their car or popping open a beer, they're thinking of Clarion. And we also want to thank Clarion Mills and Professor Evanow for coming out and this whole opportunity.